Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Bare Bones Fishing. My name is Mike and thank you very much for tuning in to the YouTube channel. So in this video here I'm going to show you how I put my crawler harnesses together. But before I get to that, I'd like to wish a belated Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you guys all had a great holiday season. I know I haven't been posting much lately for those of you who've been following along. I sold my boat in mid-November, so it cut my open water season a little bit short. And right now we're kind of in this wait and see transitionary period in southern Ontario when it comes to the ice fishing. Not a lot of great ice around. So anyways, hope you're all doing well. Let's get to the video. So I like to use 15-pound test mono or fluoro, but I've got mono in this case. I typically have a pair of snips when I'm putting these things together. I've got some beads. These are just plastic beads that you can get typically at bait shops or hobby shops. Here I've got the clevises, that's what you attach the blades to. I've got a couple of different size blades. I typically like to use the Colorado blades. And the next thing you're going to need are some hooks. And I like to use size 4 or 6 hooks that have an offset eyelet. So you can see that that eyelet is pointing towards the hook point. The eyelet on this next hook is pointing away from the hook point. So those are the types of hooks I prefer to use when making my crawler harnesses. I try to avoid these hooks with straight eyelets. I find that they don't sit very nicely when you tie them. So you're going to take about a 3-foot length of the leader. You're going to stick one end of the leader in through the eyelet from top down, and then you're going to wrap around the shank about 8 times, and then you're going to pass the other end of the leader through the bottom of the eyelet and pass it up. And this is your common snell knot here, and then I'm just going to cinch it down. Now, I've never had an issue with these hooks unraveling, but if you're nervous about that, then just put a little dab of super glue on the wraps there. And then we're going to put another hook on there. So we're going to put the end of the leader through the bottom of the eyelet. And then we're going to position the hook in the same orientation and about, I don't know, half an inch away from the bottom hook's eyelet. And so now we're going to hold on to the leader on the shank. Just double checking, make sure we got the right distance. And now we're going to do another 8 wraps or so. Okay, and then when we're done, we take the end of the leader again, pass it through the bottom of the eyelet, and cinch it down. And so there we have the business end of your crawler harness, your 2 hooks, okay? And the nice thing about these hooks is they have little bait catchers on them, so little barbs that hold your worm on. And so I'm not going to show you putting the beads on. Obviously, that's pretty straightforward. See, I went with all green, and then I threw in a silver one there. And so there I also put on the clevis. And so as I mentioned, I really like these clevises because you can interchange your blades. So if you're using, let's say, this big Colorado blade here and you want to change to something smaller, you can just pop the blade off and then put on a new one without needing to change the whole crawler harness. So at this point, what I'm doing is I'm double checking just to make sure that the blade won't interfere or hit that bottom hook. Okay, and so I've got enough beads on there that there's enough clearance. And so the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a overhand knot here to create a loop. And so this is the loop that I'm going to attach to my snap swivel that's on my fishing rod. Now you could tie on a swivel here if you'd like. There's other knots that you can use, but with the 15-pound test line, I've never had any issues with this overhand knot. And so there you have it, a crawler harness ready to go for the springtime. This is a really fun craft to not only for fishermen, but for kids as well, you know, especially kids that are interested in fishing. I know that when I was growing up, this was one of my favorite things to do with my grandpa. We'd get together usually once or twice every winter and put some crawler harnesses together. We'd waste hours just going through the different colors and different blades and sizes and all that stuff. He used to let me make them with like 2, 3, 4 blades on them. Ridiculous in hindsight. You know, I never really caught much with them, but it was fun to do nonetheless. Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you got something out of the video. and I will catch you on the next one.